So this is the part 2 of the 10 challenges the conscious manifestors have. So there is another video, part 1 of the question 1 to 5. I'm going to be answering or explaining the challenge, the 6 to 10th challenge of 10 challenges that conscious manifestors have. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the first 5, I want you to watch that first and come back to this. So the challenge number 6, it says difficulty letting go. Now, actually, this challenge number 6 is, to be honest, exactly the same as the challenge number 5. It's just a different verbiage. Challenge number 5 was resistance to change. Now, resisting to change, to become somebody else, is exactly the same as difficulty letting go of the past, present identity. Yeah. So, but let's talk about from the perspective, language of letting go. Now, why most people have a challenging time letting go? Because they are identifying themselves as their identity, right? So for the identity, for the ego, the scariest thing is to experience a death of ego. But you want to die identity-wise in order to reborn to the new one. And it's easy to die if you stop identifying yourself as your identity. Yeah. So difficulty letting go becomes easy to let go when you start stepping outside of the identity and begin seeing life more from a comprehensive, from a soul spirit point of view, and to be able to form and cultivate and nurture a new version of the identity. Okay, challenge number 7, external influences and distraction. I think this is huge for a lot of people. People tend to operate mechanically on a default state, doing activities and tasks. The external influences involve their current schedule. Also, it includes people around them. It's really important to be surrounded by those people who are also aware of conscious manifestation, who are also aware of the spiritual dimension, who are working on the spiritual realization, right? Because if you are surrounded by those environments, if you choose to surround by those environments, there's going to be minimum distraction, right? And the question that often comes up is, what if the surrounded family members, it's not like I need to let them go, but needs to be in the same under the roof, right? I mean, you can minimize the interaction and respect others, and then you create your environment to be fed more with this energy, right? There's all kinds of things that you can do. And if you feel like your current circumstance is sort of blocking you or feels like it's limited, I also want you to think how much actually you're making that as something that you're not able to change. Because change is possible for anything if you are willing to do it, right? But sometimes we sort of come up with all kinds of reasons / excuses that they believe that it's not possible to change. But actually, if they change their mind, it's easy to change. And they might assume and end up believing that it's difficult to change because of their mentality, because of their belief. Yeah, because of the inability to let go of how they have been living. So I want to invite you to examine that inside of you first, instead of saying that the outside situation is not working. Yeah, because change is possible for anything. Okay, number 8 is self-sabotage. What is self-sabotage? One of the examples of self-sabotage is that you want something, and then your current situation is not serving you enough. And as much as you want something, you sort of drift back into default state, or the moment you feel like you're going to break through, you subconsciously choose the thing that pull you right back into the current situation. And then somewhere inside of you, you know that it's not good for you, but you kind of let yourself continue to choose to do that. This can be very true for a lot of people, so it might be resonating with you when I say this. Now, the question is, how do we overcome that self-sabotage, right? I think to include all of the things that I mentioned from challenge 1 to 8, right? Including putting yourself, giving yourself a little space from your own identity so you can take a look at the identity, and then to begin understanding that you are not your thoughts, you are not your belief. And belief is something that you can easily change. And to be surrounded by like-minded, empowering, inspired people who have the same path of spiritual realization, and to the people who are working on a conscious manifestation. And the more, it's going to be very, you might be surprised how much you are actually conforming to your current environment. Because when you step out of that, you will soon realize that actually I was conforming. And then let me give an example, because I grew up in a country called Peru, which was a developing country. And the environment in that country was very different from the environment that I shifted into at the age of 11, Japan, Tokyo. It's a completely opposite developed country. Yeah. And everything, when I moved up there, everything was very automatic and clean and organized and efficiently run. And it was a completely different world, right? And then in 2005, I left Tokyo and I moved to Los Angeles. It was different again, yeah? So when you start changing the environment quickly and drastically, you sort of force yourself to begin integrating, conforming into the new environment, right? And then if you have a chance to, or experience of moving, the environment and situation, you have experienced this, right? And you want to become really aware that your surrounding environment becomes your extended identity, right? So in order to stop sabotaging, you want to surround yourself with an environment that doesn't accept those stuff. Yeah. So it means that you wanna up level your frequency, and to be around people, environment that inspires you. If you're the one who is leading and you're not being led by somebody or being inspired by somebody, that's the time that you need to change your environment. Because if you are the one who, if there's nobody around you who is inspiring you or leading you to elsewhere that you can expand into, you get stuck into, and then you're conformed in the current environment, right? So to become aware, my answer to this would be, there are different answers, but the number one would be to really begin observing the environment that you're surrounded by, and to continuously dive into a new energy so you can feel that you are being a little bit challenged to be able to examine your current identity. Yeah, that would be my answer. Okay, number 9 challenge is comparison and envy. Oh, this is good. So envy is the emotion that arises when somebody's doing what you want to do, and because you are feeling a sense of inferiority, you want to drag that person down to your level. That's what envy is. Yeah. And jealousy is you have somebody who is doing what you want to do, and you feel less than person, and you're not trying to drag that person, but you feel inferior and less than that person. But the envy is you have this sort of like a fire energy of wanting to drag the other person. So either way, the energy of comparison comes from the energy of fear, and this idea and thoughts comes from the misunderstanding that you feel separate from the whole. Yeah. If you truly understand and embody this understanding that you are one with the creator, and everybody, 8 billion people who live on this earth, are just an extension of one source, you and the other person are one. So there's no comparison energy. But if you have an experience, childhood experience of not being accepted fully, or have some sort of insecurity that uh, stemmed from that environment in the past, more than likely, you might have an idea or feeling, emotion that you experience that you feel inferior, and you start feeling a sense of jealousy or envy, right? So what we want to do is, the moment you feel that, nothing wrong with feeling that, because that's where you're at internally, to recognize and acknowledge that, and then begin working on feeling that by yourself, because nothing outside of you is going to help you to change that feeling, right? And then this energy is no bueno, because comparison and envy is an energy of fear, right? The moment you drift into the energy of fear, it doesn't work well with the conscious manifestation, right? Because you don't want to attract fear around you, right? So the goal is to shift that fear energy into love. How do we do that? By practicing seeing yourself as one with everything, and that person that you're seeing is also one with everything, and to choose to think that, oh, if this person is doing, that means that it's possible for me too, right? If somebody's doing something, it only indicates that it is possible for you too, because we have the access to the same one power. That's how we want to start thinking. Yeah, that's the difference between thinking from separation or thinking from wholeness. Okay, number 10, maintaining alignment and consistency. Yes, consistency is important. Maintaining alignment. So let's talk about what makes us become out of alignment. Yeah. What makes us out of alignment is one thing. Guess what that is? It's always this one thing. It's your own mind, right? So what makes us out of alignment is our own mind. What makes us coming back to alignment is also our own mind. Okay, what makes us out of alignment? There's always fear. Yeah, there's always fear. And then when you start focusing on the outside and start focusing on the lack, and you start feeling the doubt and skepticism or negative talk, it's the fear. Limiting belief, it comes from a fear and not understanding who we are, right? So as long as we're connected to the whole, and as long as we're connected to the energy of love, we are maintaining the alignment, right? To experience and feel the gratitude, and then to really embrace the nature of creation and the idea and the experience that we are the creator, so we can stay at the seed level of creation, right? When you start focusing on the outside world, which is the realm of creation, right? The realm of creator is inside. That realm of creator, a creation, the playground, the canvas is outside. Yeah. So how can we maintain an alignment? We wanna stay in the energy of love, and we wanna constantly sustain the attention as a creator. So we don't end up becoming the createe. Yeah, to be the creator. How do we stay consistent? We want to first structure things, because unless we structure things, things gets in the way, and we start prioritizing something else. We want to be surrounded by those environments. So you create the outside situation to help you to stay consistent, right? You don't need to just try to change the mind to stay consistent, right? If you're inspired enough, and if you are feeling driven enough to stay focused, that's a possibility. But also, I found for myself, and also observing my clients and people in general, it's good to create an external environment that help you to be consistent. And one of them is to create a structure. Another one is to have somebody that is doing with you, or to surround yourself with that environment. So as you can tell, a lot of the answers and the comment that I made sort of are similar for each challenge. And bottom line, what comes down to is the muscle that we need to cultivate is the muscle to stay connected with the creator, to feel and experience that you're one with source. As long as you sustain that, you will be in the energy of love. And all these things, that the 10 challenges that I mentioned, are just the symptom that comes from the separation from the creator. So conscious manifestation, how can we stay consciously in the creator role, is to really immerse yourself with this idea and experience that you are one with the whole. And that is the foundation of all. So that was the answer and a little tip around the 10 challenges that the conscious manifestors are facing. Let me know what spoke to you the most, if there wasn't any insight, or is there any challenge that you are currently experiencing that I didn't mention in the 10 challenges. Feel free to comment. And that is it. I'm going to come back for more spiritual realization and conscious manifestation topics. When we integrate these two things, we can really express ourselves on a day-to-day basis from the spiritual point of view, and to really become the creator to fulfill our desire. So I'll see you in the next video.